I'm gravely concerned that legal aid has not received any increase in general funds for 17 years. At the time when we created the legal aid, it's the Equal Access Fund. The legislature put in $10 million. There was another fund, the IOLTA fund, which is interest accounts from settlements, was making about $20 million. And at that time, when we put the 10 million in, we were in crisis. That at the time they said that with that low funding, we were in crisis with trying to manage the legal concerns of the less fortunate, the poor in our community. This is legal assistance that people have for on civil actions. We all know that you have a right to an attorney in a criminal trial, but there's, like in domestic violence, there's some of the domestic violence is keeping people away in a criminal context, but some of it is, it's not criminal, it's a civil unfortunate or a dangerous situation that hasn't risen to the criminal level. People that get, you buy a car that you were, ripped off from the dealer, and you can't afford to get your the attorney. Getting information about filing forms for the federal government or for participation in programs. Some people can't do it by themselves. They need actual assistance. Evictions are another civil action where people get wrongfully thrown out of their house or their apartment. They don't know what the law is, and so there's a variety of opportunities for somebody to sit down with somebody with a lawyer, legal knowledge about the issues, and guide them through that their challenges. You have the state of New York. I mean, if our ask is to raise it to $50 million, there's 40 million people, so it's like $1.25 per person. New York is funding at like $8 per person. Minnesota is like $13 per person, where they say, we're not guaranteeing that you win, but the legal system was set up for professionals who pass the bar, who there's a formal environment that you go in there, and you need to have some representation. You just get legal advice, and then there's no automatic win for the indigent and poor people who can't afford to pay for representation. We've all read about the budget surplus, so I'm hopeful. Last year I had circulated a letter that got 28 legislators, Republicans and Democrats, that signed on that said we want to increase the funding for legal aid. Unfortunately, there was no addition in last year's budget. Many people are concerned about dependency court and having their children provide get some assistance and get the counseling that they need. This is under the same umbrella. So I'm hopeful that the subcommittee will listen to the presentation, will increase the budget number to the 50 million, and then we'll take our chances with the governor and the assembly. People give lip service to equal access to justice. I mean, everybody who's running for a position says, I'm concerned about equal access to justice, and we just heard the Supreme Court justice talk about access to justice and what the third branch of government provides. Third branch of government was designed to have professionals go in as your advocate. There's no access to justice. One, if the courtrooms are not open, but if you don't understand the procedural and technical aspects of the law, you're lost and you get no justice. And if you have no funding, we can continue to close our eyes and pretend like this problem doesn't exist. But at least today, Bob Wieckowski is going to address the Senate subcommittee and remind them of our obligation. I mean, you go into family law, and now the courts are telling us that 90% of the people that walk in there are in pro per, which means they are representing themselves. So they don't, the courts are clogged. Unfortunately, people are not happily married. They seek divorce, or they seek a custody order or something, and they don't understand the procedures and how to ask the court, how to fill out the forms when they go before the court. So that makes an already overburdened court clog up. So the idea is that legal aid will, one, allow some of these people to be represented, and possibly will allow people to avoid the court system. They can work out a settlement so that they don't have to sit there and have their 15 minutes and the judge is asking them questions where they don't understand the vocabulary. They don't understand how to go through this maze. And again, I want to emphasize to the committee that the court system was never designed for an individual with a high school education to go in there and understand the technical procedural rules and know how to address the court and know how to respond to the opposition who's represented by an attorney. So hopefully working together, it keeps some people out of the court system, but then it makes it run more efficiently as the judges hear the cases.